Hi guys, welcome to my channel. My name's Lana. I am a mum of three, a new mum of three, which is really weird to say. I never thought I would be saying that, but here we are. So I have Daisy, who is 4, I have Riley, who is almost 3, and 5 weeks ago I gave birth to our newest little guy, and I will introduce him in a minute. I can't believe I have 2 sons and a daughter. It is absolutely madness. I can't wait to tell you guys all about the birth. It was so positive, and yeah, I'm really looking forward to just sharing my story in this video, just a little chatty type vlog, and I will introduce you to our newest addition. So where to start? I guess if you've watched some of my other videos, you'll know from my last pregnancy update that I was a little bit torn between having a C-section or having a vaginal delivery. I've had 2 vaginal deliveries in the past, so if you're new here, I'll tell you a little bit about those briefly, and then I'll tell you the birth story of my newest baby. So with baby number 1 and 2, I suffered with shoulder dystocia. The second one was worse than the first one. Both of them were okay, I guess, like the babies were fine, no injuries, no lasting damage from the short time that they were stuck, but obviously it's quite a scary thing to go through, and it just meant that at the end of the labour it was quite scary. There was lots of doctors in the room, the emergency cord was pulled, and the actual delivery part of my labour wasn't so positive. The labours themselves were okay. I wouldn't describe any of my labours as being massively negative. So with this third baby, the advice at the beginning of the pregnancy was you should probably have a C-section. You've had 2 stuck babies before, it's not worth the risk. Obviously I kind of agreed with them at the start, but then as the pregnancy progressed, I did a lot of research into it, a lot of reading, and I just kind of followed my gut, and I decided in the end to go for another vaginal delivery. There was a few things I did differently in my pregnancy, so in my last video I explained a little bit about that. So I went to the chiropractor and I followed her advice and did all these different types of stretches. She worked on me once every couple of weeks just to try and create some room in my pelvis and try and stop a shoulder dystocia happening again with my third baby. I ate dates in my last 4 weeks of pregnancy, well actually 5 weeks, to try and help my cervix dilate quicker, faster, more easily. So there was a few different things that I did in this pregnancy to try and reduce the risk of having another stuck baby. I also went for a lot of monitoring to check that the baby wasn't going to be getting too big, because I know that that can sometimes increase the chances of the baby getting stuck. I also did a lot of hypnobirthing. I really took it seriously this time. I took it seriously the first time, but the second time I think I was a bit cocky and thought, oh, I've done this before, like, I'll be fine, I'm not going to bother. But actually, in hindsight, that was a really bad decision, and brushing up on breathing techniques and your positive affirmations and just listening to nice relaxing audios, that sort of thing, I think is really helpful. So I did that, and yeah, there was just like a collection of things, if you like, that I did this time to really try and reduce my chances of it happening again. So I felt confident, I felt really happy with my decision, I listened to my gut, and I went for a vaginal delivery. So it got to about 10 days before I was due, and I started to have some signs that he might be coming. I had some tightenings, I had really strong Braxton Hicks, but they never really turned into anything, but they were enough to keep me up at night. I was bouncing on my ball at 3 AM thinking, okay, is something happening? And then it kind of didn't. I was due on the 18th of January. So the 18th of January then came, nothing happened. And I felt okay, I felt happy, I felt ready, but also ready to just wait and see when he was going to come. I didn't feel pressure to have a sweep or have an induction at that point. I just really wanted to trust my body and trust my baby that he was going to come. So I felt really good just sitting and waiting. The baby wasn't showing on any of the growth scans to be abnormally large or anything like that, so I was quite happy just to wait. And then we got 8 days overdue, and at that point I was really done. I think having 2 small children, a dog and a 3-story house, and yeah, just lots of factors made me feel just so done by that point, and I was really ready to meet him. I felt really fed up that I was still pregnant at that point, which is really sad to say now, because I know that that was my last pregnancy and I don't want to think of me, you know, wishing it away or anything like that. But at that point I really was physically and mentally done. So I accepted an induction, and yeah, we went into hospital on the 26th of January, and that was the day, or you know, the evening that he was born. So we went into the hospital just before midday, and then my waters were broken at 2 p.m. I didn't need to have any of the pessaries or the gels or anything, because I was already dilated just enough that they could go in and break the waters. I had this with my second baby, and within 6 hours of them breaking the waters, he was born. So I kind of just thought that the same thing would happen, especially as I had been having quite a lot of tightenings and stuff was clearly happening. So yeah, I kind of thought, okay, this will go the same sort of way. But anyway, it didn't. He was really slow actually to get going, so I started having contractions pretty much straight away after they broke my waters. They advised me to go for a walk around the hospital, so that's what we did. Contractions were coming, but they were really irregular. They were fairly strong, but I could talk through them, and they weren't particularly regular. So I think what they look for is 3 or 4 really strong contractions in 10 minutes, whereas I was having like 1 in 10 minutes, and then the next kind of round of 10 minutes I'd have maybe like 3, and then I'd have 2, and then I'd have 5, and it was just like really spread out, random, and a bit odd. So I don't think I was actually in active labour for a good few hours. Normally after 4 hours of breaking your waters, they want to start you with the oxytocin drip, but because I'd laboured twice before without the drip, they were like, okay, we'll give you a little bit longer. So I had 6 hours after them breaking my waters to see if things would get going. So after the 6 hours, it was 8 o'clock, and the contractions were a lot stronger now. I was struggling to talk through them. I put my TENS machine on, and I was using all my hypnobirthing, my breathing techniques, and I used a birth comb this time. So I had a comb that every time I got a contraction I would squeeze, and it would kind of trick my body. I think that's the science behind it. It's supposed to trick your body into thinking that the pain is somewhere else, or if you're experiencing 2 types of feelings, your brain like struggles to focus on one of them, so it's supposed to help with the contractions. Yeah, in the early stages I did think it helped. So I had my birth comb, I had all my music and my affirmations, and I was using my breathing, I had my TENS machine, and that was fine. But the midwives wanted the contractions to become longer and stronger, and just to be generally, I guess, doing more. So they advised me to start the drip. I was really nervous about this because I've heard such horror stories that the drip is really painful, really intense, and I was also really worried that they wouldn't let me in the pool, and the pool is such a big part of my birth plan. I know obviously you shouldn't put too much pressure on having something or not having something, but I really wanted the pool. I used the pool with my previous births, and I knew that it would just help me so much with the pain relief side of things. So I was a little bit nervous about starting the drip, but after speaking to the midwife, she advised me that I could go in the pool. I just needed to have the wireless monitoring bands on my tummy, which didn't really bother me. So I was really pleased that I could still get in the pool. And she said that they would start it off at such a low level, such a low rate, that hopefully just a small amount would just kind of tip my body into proper active labour, and then I wouldn't really need much more. So kind of on those terms, I agreed to start the drip. So they placed a catheter into my wrist about here, and honestly, I'd say that was probably one of the worst parts about like the whole day. It was so painful. I don't really know if everyone finds having a cannula or catheter, whatever you want to call it, placed that painful, but I really didn't like it. And then when it was in place, it was really hard to move my wrist around, and it was just generally really uncomfortable. But I mean, it is what it is. I kind of forgot about it after a while once everything did start getting going. So I was hooked up to the drip for probably only about 15 minutes or so, until the contractions really started to ramp up. So at that point I asked for the gas and air, and I asked them to fill the pool for me. So once I got into the pool, oh my gosh, it was just heaven. I had to keep my hand with the cannula out of the water, so I kind of just like had it on the side of the pool, but that didn't really bother me that much. I had the gas just in front of me. Matt was just holding the gas for me, and yeah, at that point I couldn't talk, I couldn't open my eyes. I just really went into the zone, and yeah, I mean, I'm smiling, like it was amazing. Like at that point it was so so amazing to just let my body completely just take control, take over, and yeah, it just felt like almost a bit of an out-of-body experience. So I just had my eyes closed and I had my music, my affirmations on, and something so amazing was that Matt had recorded the children, so my 2-year-old and my 4-year-old, saying like positive affirmations. So he started playing them out loud on his phone. So in the room, I just could hear them going, "You're amazing, mummy, we love you, mummy, you can do this, you've got this." And oh my God, like just hearing their voices, just like, it makes me want to cry, like honestly. It was amazing just to hear them calling out for me. It's like when someone's cheering you on in a race, like it just makes you want to run faster, or you know, just go for it. So yeah, it really helped. So I just, yeah, had my eyes closed and I was just going for it, and the contractions were just really strong, one after the other, but I was using the gas, and somehow it just felt different this time. I feel like with the other births, with my first, I didn't really know what to expect or what birth felt like, so I had nothing to compare it to. With my second, I could feel he was coming down, but I could feel he was going to get stuck. I don't know what it was. I can't even really describe it, but I just could tell that he was going to be a stuck baby, and he was. Whereas with this birth, it just felt so easy. I use that term loosely because birth is not easy, and it was hard and it was painful, and I'm not going to lie. But I could feel he was coming down so much more easily. With every contraction, it just felt right. And then I started going through transition. So if you don't know what transition is, it's basically where you kind of go from contracting and dilating to pushing. And I didn't even really realize I was doing it. Your body just kind of takes over. You start like mooing, or I just started grunting and breathing just crazily, like with the gas. And the midwife said, "Lana, I think you're transitioning now," which means at that point I should really be getting out of the pool, because I've had the 2 babies be stuck in the past. They said it wasn't really safe for me to deliver in the pool, and I kind of agreed with that, to be fair. So I had to get out of the pool, which was very interesting. Between contractions, which wasn't long at all, literally a few seconds, I managed to sort of leap out of the pool and stagger over to the bed. I got onto the bed, and I got on all fours, kind of with my hands up on the top of the bed. They had the bed in kind of like an L shape, so I had my hands on top of the bed. Yeah, had my gas still. Actually, no, did I have my gas? I don't think I did. I think I left it in the pool. I think it was all pretty rushed at this point. And yeah, I was just breathing, and I could feel him right there. Within literally a few small pushes, he was born, and it was amazing. He didn't get stuck. There was no doctors, there was no buzzers. It was me, my husband, and 2 midwives, and it was amazing, and the best birth. I'm just so happy that I went with my gut. I followed my instinct, and I really had the best birth. And yeah, I'll just cherish those memories. I really will. He was born at 11:17, which was the exact same time that my daughter was born. So my first and my last baby were born at the very same time, just before midnight, which is just amazing, crazy. And he was 8 pounds 5, so he was a little bit smaller than Riley, my second. He was 9 pounds 1, and my daughter was 7 pound 13, so he sat nicely in the middle. I recovered really well, which is just perfect for us and our family, because I think that was another reason why I was really put off of a C-section, is just the recovery. I really felt like I would have struggled with 2 small children, well, 3 small children, the dog and the house and just everything, and my husband would have really struggled as well. So just the fact that I could then get up and move around. We went home like the very next day. I didn't have to stay on the postnatal ward. It kind of went to midnight, and then we went home like in the morning. So we were there like after he was born, we were there less than 12 hours. So it was just, yeah, brilliant. He breastfeeds really well, but I don't know if that's just third breastfed baby. Like, I think, you know, my body's just done it so many times, and I just know kind of how to position him comfortably and that sort of thing. I think that just kind of generally makes that easier. But I've just been blessed. I've been really blessed and really lucky. We are a very happy family of 5 or 6 if you're counting the dog. Anyway, I don't think I've forgotten anything. So yeah, there it is, my positive induction third baby, no shoulder dystocia birth story. So here he is. We have called him Roman Eden Iles, and he is now 5 weeks old. So yeah, 5 weeks today. We think he looks a lot like Riley, but also a lot like Matt. And yeah, he's just lovely, bless him. He's got not much hair on the top, but he's got a little tiny bit at the back. And I know all babies kind of have blue eyes when they're born, but I'm pretty sure he'll have blue eyes like Riley. He does look a lot like him, and his eyes are quite blue already, so yeah, we'll see. But we're starting to get some little smiles now, which is nice, aren't we? And yeah, Daisy and Riley have been really good with him. They care about him just enough, so they're not trying to pick him up all the time or trying to, you know, be too full on with him, but they're not ignoring him either. So yeah, it's been a nice balance. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I can't wait to start making more content, more family videos as a family of 5, and I will see you in our next one. Bye!